when Jewish state want to restore their state, the unknown gunman kill all those who do not support in Jewish state. This is high time. I just want to make a contribution. This is high time we kill every garden shit that is not supporting ESN and IPOB in Biafra land, especially the Eastern governors and all those people, including Joey Bokwe and everybody. Those people that are talking rubbish against ESN and IPOB must go down. We'll have to send them to God for judgment. That's what I want to contribute, my leader.
Thank you. I'm not going to kill anybody, please. I want to make this very, very clear. I am not going to kill anybody, but my job is to ensure that we present them before God for judgment. I'm not going to judge anybody. I'm not going to execute anybody. It is for God to do all of that, not me. Thank you very much. Of course, I can understand your anger. My dear brother, I can understand your anger. We share the same anger. Look at the way the Fulanis are fighting to take over our land. And we are struggling to defend our land. And some of our people are supporting the Fulani to take over our land. Hey, very sad indeed. The caller on the line, can you hear me? Your name and where you are, please, if you may.
Good morning. This is Daniel. I'm calling from Belgium.
From Belgium. Thank you very much. The world is listening. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Onyendu, I want to thank you for all you have said this morning and for your analysis. I have been a member of this IPOB since 2013. I'm still a member. Actually, I know all what you have explained about the thing they said about...
You are very far from the microphone. Take it off speakerphone, please. Speak into your phone direct so it can come out here very well.
Sir.
Go ahead.
I said, actually, I have heard all what you have said this morning, and we know who those people who are battling those lies, and we tell them that if anything happens to you, they are going to see how we are. We know their leader, and they said that their main effort is to bring IPOB down, and I've already told them that it's going to take them another 200 or more million years for them to bring IPOB down. That we are very strong, and we are strong behind you. Whatever you want to do, do it. I don't have a daughter to give you or anything, but if your wife will allow, maybe you come and take my own also and join to your own. So do whatever you want to do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I will not take your wife to join to my own. No. I have a very beautiful wife. I'm not going to take yours, please. Elohim gave yours. Chico Gabama gave you your wife. And she is going to, I don't want to use the word serve before the feminists who come after me. Two of you are going to have a very fruitful and enjoyable life together. They understood. Do you think the zoo is foolish? They see me when I travel. Do you think they don't see me when I travel across international borders? Of course they know, because it's part of the information sharing protocol. Anytime I cross any border, they all know, but they also understand that should anything happen to me, all their children will be beheaded in the afternoon, 12 noon, everywhere they are in the world, the same day. When I get back, you see the same.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to great Biafrans and lovers of freedom. This is Radio Biafra House of Service coming to you through Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi Chinedu from Alo province of Biafra land. Today is the 11th day of March 2022, being Friday. Without wasting any time, I will hand over the platform to the head of the Directorate of the Indigenous People of Biafra.
Thank you, Mazi Jonathan, and I believe that I am coming out clear.
You are coming out crystal clear, sir. Go on.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night to all of you great, wonderful people of Biafra. My name is Mazi Chika Edoziem. I come from Ihe Oma. Ihe Oma is in Olu province of Biafra land. And by the grace of Chukwu Kikabiyama Promiyanine, I serve the indigenous people of Biafra in the Directorate of State as the head of Directorate. Tonight, broadcast, I want to let the family members of the indigenous people of Biafra, led by our supreme leader, Kanu, I want to let you know that the leadership that our leader empaneled, the leadership that he put in place, the Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra, you should be rest assured that we are working focused, determinedly and devotedly to the very great work that has been handed over to us. Notwithstanding the challenges, notwithstanding the conspiracies going on, you'll be rest assured that these very DOOF, these very directors of state, these very leadership are not leaving any stone unturned in order to ensure that our leader, the supreme leader of Ambazonia of Biafra, Kanu, rejoins us in the shortest possible time. But before I continue, I wish to bring to you also, of course, we know that we have been getting updates from our legal team whenever they visit our leader. Let me add to that, to all those updates, to inform those who may not have had time to read those updates. Let me inform the great, wonderful family of IPOB that our leader has all of us in his thoughts, notwithstanding, not minding the very difficult place that he has found himself in. He has all of us in his prayers, he has all of us in his thoughts, and of course, he sends all his love, his regards to all of us. You know, whenever I come on air, I make it a duty to state that this leadership that we have just two very key objectives, just two. As we are here now at the moment, the first major immediate objective of this leadership and all hardcore IPOB family members and well-wishers and friends of Biafra, our immediate objective is to ensure first that nothing, that our leader remains taking into account where he is, that his health is not in any manner jeopardized, because we are monitoring his health condition. We are monitoring, we are making sure that nothing happens that may take us by surprise. So, as we are ensuring that his health is not jeopardized by any means, we are also doubling our efforts to make sure he does not remain in the hands of the enemy longer than is necessary. Therefore, what I mean is that we are working to ensure that he rejoins us the soonest, so that I wouldn't want anybody to misinterpret this tonight's broadcast, because I know everybody they are listening, and they will probably what they are interested in is to look for maybe a statement that they can interpret out of context. But the point I'm trying to make here to great Biafrans is that this very leadership, we do not have any other thing that is occupying us apart from the first immediate objective of ensuring that our leader is back with us sooner than later, and then we will continue from where we left off before we had this challenge. That is, we will continue on the march and the path to our liberty and freedom. The freedom of the Biafran people from the contraption called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. A lot of things have been happening. Things are going on, and in very, very quick, speedy successions. And like our leader will always say, those who have sold their conscience for crumbs from the table, and even when you look at that crumb that is falling from the table of the master, actually the main cause of this, of where these crumbs are falling from, they are coming from your land. That's why some people will be as stupid as becoming a guard to what belongs to them for another person. Does it make sense? Oyendu always says, if you serve the Zulu at the expense of your own people, specifically, if any Biafran politician serve the zoo at the expense of his Biafran brothers or sisters, there is one outcome of that service that you're going to give to the Fulani. That outcome is that you will, at the end of your service, you will come back. If you ever be allowed to come back to Biafra, but you come back from where you started in shame. And because of that, I want to tell you why this is so. 95%, at least 95% of politicians of Biafran extraction are all morally bankrupt. I am conservative when I say 95%, but I leave it at 95%. They are all morally bankrupt. And so, those of us who have committed time, resources for this very struggle, those of us who have sacrificed limbs and their life for this very struggle, we must never ever think or expect any of these politicians of Biafra extraction to support our liberation struggle. We must not expect them, in the sense that because they are morally bankrupt, because they are corrupt, because they have skeletons in their cupboard, they cannot support this struggle. And the reason is simple. The reason is that the Fulani, being a little bit more sensible than those who call themselves politicians of Biafra extraction, the Fulani has been able to keep a chronicle of all the shady deals of politicians of Biafra extraction, and to some extent, politicians in other parts of the zoo called Nigeria. They have kept a chronicle of their evil deeds and of their shady deeds. This book of Chronicle, this book that is enumerating, chronicling the evil of these people even before they ventured into the murky waters of zoo politics. The content of this chronicle is hanging over their heads just like the sword of Damocles. It's hanging over them. The Fulani has it over them. That is why they will blackmail them, they will cajole them, they will threaten them, and they will compel them finally to be a house servant to the master. House servant who is, who has the oversight over the slave in the field. This is why I will tell you that they will never ever cough and say Biafra. Because once they do that, the Fulani will simply dust their page where they have their names, where they have their entries, and shake it in their face and either send it to the proper agency to carry out the necessary actions and do the needful. And like I said, a lot of things are happening. We are hearing some news, but don't be taken in. Don't ever be fooled by the Fulani, because they are the masters of takia, deception. That is what they know very much and very well to do. They can be very deceptive. They may be giving, you may think that now suddenly they are being amenable to your position, to your view, but it is a way to make you lose your guard, and then they will strike. Therefore, we must not lose our guard, irrespective of whatever news we may hear from the zoo, whether they are sacking a governor or they are sacking a minister. Don't let that phase you. We must not let that be take a center stage in our quest or in our work, because otherwise then we will probably be distracted, and then the enemy will strike at a very difficult time for us. There is an intel that is at our disposal. And this is a very disturbing intel, and I want to share it to some extent with Biafrans, especially Biafrans in Biafra land. This intel has it that the Fulani terror herdsmen are now changing their modus operandi. They are changing their tactics of coming into our land to commit these acts of terror that they are known of. Their new modus of operation is to disguise as hunters. They know that now that walking cows from Sahel down to the rainforest of our land has become very, very difficult. And we all know also that the cows that they herd, these cows are just a smokescreen. It is a cover-up for their evil intentions and the evil acts that they carry out in our land. So they have tried to modify how they come into our land, and they are coming in now as hunters. You may see them. You may have anybody may have observed. They will come in with the hunter's gun and all the machetes and all the things that you may believe hunters will have with them. But don't be fooled again. That's why I'm saying that the Fulanis, they are not resting because they have not achieved what they want to achieve. And to Chukwu be the glory, they will never achieve that objective or that plan that they have put in place for the past 100 years to conquer the Biafra people. They will never achieve that because the hour of our liberation is now. Now, as I was saying, what they do, apart from the fact that they disguise as hunters, this is what they normally do. They come into a particular village or a community. They will know and take into account the market day of that very community or village. And in our land, market days are the days mostly very few people go to farm on the market day. Everybody, all roads leads to the market. If it is a K market in your area, it is if you go to that market on that day, it's full. If it's Orient, as in my place, we have Orient. If you go there on that market day, it is full. So what they do is that they will find out which day is the market day of a particular village that they intend to carry out their evil terror act. And when they have observed and when they have found out which day it is, now what they will do is, as soon as that day arrives, the market day arrives, and in the morning people have gone to the market, they go into our forest. And we know also that there may be very few people who may still want to go to the farm for obvious reasons. These very minority are their targets, because at the end of the day, you may be alone in the forest. You may be alone in your farmland, because most people are busy on the marketplace. So what they do is, if they find you alone in the market, in the forest, in your farmland, that becomes they will carry out their usual terror attack. They do sometimes they kidnap our people, and when they kidnap them, they will kill them and harvest their organs. So organ harvesting is still going on in our land, and this evil is being carried out also by those who do not wish us well. For this very reason, I'm calling for the vigilance of our people in their various communities and villages, especially on their village or community market day. I'm calling for vigilance. People must, if you must go to the farm, let somebody know that you're going to the farm on that day, or at least, if possible, go with one person, so that alarm can easily be raised. People can easily begin to, raise alarm if after a specific period of time you are not back from the farmland, and then such action will be implemented to know, because the earlier we find out that somebody is missing and go into action, that is it gives us the chance to save the life of our people. So communities, please take note. This is the work that our traditional custodians and those who call themselves PGs, these are things that you need to be, paying more attention to, and not, using your time and, collaborating with the Fulani to come and take over our land. Biafrans, many of us, especially those who are principal servants, we may have heard of IPOB Code of Conduct. The IPOB Code of Conduct is our working and guiding document. This document measures to a very large extent our individual commitments, our duties, our dedication to the struggle, and also our rights as principal servants and as IPOB family members, as the case may be. This code of conduct is, like some people will say, it is our Bible. Anyone can come on social media and talk whatever that pleases him or her, as long as the person has some data. You can go online and say what you want. However, if you are an IPOB family member or a principal officer, it is very, very much advisable for you to do a little bit of a research or investigation before displaying ignorance in the public. I am giving this very advice to those of us who believe in this very struggle, who believe on this journey that we have embarked upon. Don't talk carelessly. Don't just come out on the social media and begin to say what you do not know, what you do not have evidence. It doesn't speak well of you as a person, and it does not speak well of us if you are part of us. So I am advising you to do a little bit of research and investigations when you have information. Ask questions. I want to crave your indulgence, Biafrans, and read one or two sections from our code of conduct. Now, subsection, the most important one I have to read, as a matter of fact, is just give me a minute, please. Just a minute, I'm going to get it nice. Now, IPOB Command and Control, this subtitle, and then subsection A, Appointments and Dismissals. Paragraph 1 states, the power to appoint, suspend, and or dismiss erring principal officers vests exclusively on the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The power to appoint, to suspend, to dismiss erring officers are his exclusive preserve, except and to the extent he clearly and expressly delegates that power to any other principal officer. Now, if you go down to subsection B, principal officers, the section that explain who and what is a principal officer. Subsection B, paragraph 2 states, to determine the suitability and capability of a designated principal officer, that officer shall undergo basic vetting. I hope all of you are following me. I will repeat it. To determine the suitability and also to know the capacity of somebody who has been recommended for a particular position of service in IPOB. These are not paraphrasing it. That officer must undergo basic vetting, and that vetting right rests upon the Directorate of State. I go down a little bit further and I will read. I'm still actually on subsection B, principal officers, and I'll go down to paragraph 7. It says, the automatic renewal of the position of any principal servant shall depend on the officer's ability to adhere strictly to the IPOB code of office, follow the command and control principle, respect the hierarchical structure of the movement, remain loyal and dutifully obey and implement all directives from the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. And additionally to that, evidence of growth of the family under the principal servant and positive improvement in running the affairs of his or her office shall also be taken into account. So what I read here in paragraph 5, paragraph 7 is saying that yes, our principal officers have been there for you because your appointment automatically renews after 6 months, and there is a condition for that renewal to kick in automatically, and that is that any principal servant the renewal of any principal servant shall depend on the officer's ability to adhere strictly to the IPOB code of office, follow the command and control principle, respect the hierarchical structure of this very movement, and remain loyal, dutifully obey and implement all directives from the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Now, I will read paragraph 12. It says, coordinators at all levels are principal servants or the head servants of Biafrans in their level or position of service, and therefore in charge of managing the affairs of the family at that level. Now, as already stated, appointments and dismissals are the prerogative of the leader of the digital people of Biafra in the Mazi and Kanu. State or national coordinators, as the case may be, pay attention, please, Biafrans. State or national coordinators, as the case may be, could be requested in an existing zone or unit in which the position becomes vacant. They could be requested to recommend possible nominees from among members of the unit or zone for vetting. They could, but they must not be. But to ensure, because they are those who are on the ground, normally it has always been that you ask coordinators, the immediate coordinators or reps or continental reps to do what? To make recommendations when a particular office or position is vacant. Now, paragraph 13 says, in the case of a new zone or unit, whichever applies to the new family, the state or national coordinator shall equally forward for vetting. And from all the paragraphs that I've been reading, one word that is key, that is popping out all the time, is that principal officers must undergo vetting to determine their suitability for that post for which they are being recommended or nominated. Now, I will read just one more paragraph in subsection C, which is the subtitle dealing with subsection C with the subtitle IPOB hierarchical structure. And the first paragraph reads, the indigenous people of Biafra, led by Nnamdi Kanu, made a deliberate and conscious decision to pursue our inalienable right to self-determination through non-violent, peaceful process. And this non-violent peaceful process includes, but not limited or restricted to, civil disobedience, boycotts, sit-at-homes, protests, and rallies, etc. Now, the second paragraph from this, the second part of this paragraph reads, being a non-violent freedom-fighting movement, our operational methodology, therefore, is founded upon the enduring and effective principle of command and control. The chain of command of IPOB has been, and as I always say, it has been part of what has made this very movement what it is today. It has, in fact, our leader, he hit a jackpot when he introduced this principle, because we are not in the forest, as usual. Freedom fighters will be in the forest with Kalashnikovs and the rest of it, and any form of indiscipline, we know what happens. So, and he introduced this because we are pursuing our right through peaceful means. So, and there has to be something that everybody must adhere to in order to minimize, limit to the very barest minimum issues of indiscipline in a struggle such as ours. Now, the introductory paragraph that I read initially. Now I'm going to read on this section, the first paragraph, the very first paragraph of this section says that every principal servant of the indigenous people of Biafra, from unit coordinators up to the highest level of coordination, must adhere very strictly to this very code of conduct. Every principal officer from the unit level, the least level we have, up to the highest of it, all of us must adhere very strictly to this very code of conduct that I'm reading, by ensuring that they report in all cases and at all times to their immediate superior, except on cases of complaint against the immediate superior officer, in which case the person who is supposed to report to that superior officer now has a room to send a written complaint to the next superior officer, apart from the one that he is complaining about. Code of conduct is our Bible. It is our working document. It is our guiding document. And any principal officer who has this document and has not been able to read it from beginning to the end and reread it again in order to assimilate its content, then I want to tell you tonight that after tonight's broadcast, this is what you need to go and do. Get our code of conduct and read it from beginning to the end until you are sure you know all that it contains. And people may be wondering, why am I, reading from the code of conduct and all the rest? You get that will come. The reason will come towards the end of my broadcast tonight. And part of the reason as well is that I want to inform the great Biafra and IPOB family worldwide tonight that we have overcome almost all the challenges that the enemy threw at us within this very period that our leader was extraordinary rendition. 7 months and counting. This leadership, we have stood unwavering. We have stood like the rock of Gibraltar. And it is not just by our own power, it is by the grace of Chukwu Abiyama that all the plans of the enemy, they have all come to nothing. And the rest that they will still want to activate, they will still come to nothing, because, like I say always, this battle has gone beyond the physical. It has gone beyond the physical. The spirits that own our land are on our side, and heaven, of course, heaven, Chukwu Abiyama, that send Onyendu, cannot let shame to befall his name, cannot let shame to befall his children. Therefore, that is why we are very certain, very, very assured that Biafra is around the corner. And I want all of you to take this very assurance and make sure that that will be guiding what you are going to be doing as an IPOB family member henceforward. A new insurrection is brewing. Yes, I was saying we have been able to withstand all the challenges, but a new insurrection is brewing, and I want to alert all IPOB family members worldwide to be very, 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 very vigilant. Very extraordinary vigilance is required of all of us, so that we will not be taken by surprise, like what happened some months back when those who were planted or those who were planted in our midst suddenly began to show their true colors. But I'm informing you now that a new insurrection is coming. But be rest assured that this leadership, we are there, we are waiting, we are monitoring every move of the enemy. It doesn't matter whether the enemy is outside of IPOB or whether the enemy is within the IPOB. Do not therefore allow yourself to fall victim at this 11th hour. I am now speaking to all of you, wonderful and lovely Biafra IPOB family members. Do not allow yourself to fall victim at this 11th hour. And be assured again that those who are about to initiate this next challenge or insurrection, be assured that they will go the way of those before them into the dustbin of failure. Absolute discipline has been and will always be our watchword, and that is the reason I read part of the code of conduct tonight to our people. Absolute, there is no middle way here. The discipline must be complete, and where it does not exist, then there is a problem, and it cannot and will not be condoned. Those who have difficulty, if you are a principal officer or an IPOB family member and you have in any way difficulty following IPOB's laid down rules and regulations, then take it to the bank. You will run into difficulty with IPOB leadership. That is for sure. If you think that you have been given one responsibility or the other, and suddenly you believe nobody can question or talk to you, you have become whatever, a czar or whatever in your own little fiefdom, then I can assure you, you will definitely run into trouble with the leadership, because we will not tolerate any form of indiscipline either amongst the officers or amongst the family members, as the case may be. To this effect, therefore, because those who do not understand why and what we are pursuing and have made themselves willing to be used by the enemy, these persons, these following individuals, are hereby suspended indefinitely from their position and from IPOB activities until they are cleared or indicted by our complaint resolution committee. And these individuals that are from tonight suspended indefinitely are as follows. 1. Mazi Charles Lucky Okorafor, or they call him also, or he calls himself also, Charles Lucky Anson. Popularly, and people, aka people call him Ogbuefi, and this very lucky Charles Okorafor was the IPOB Washington DC zonal coordinator. He has been suspended indefinitely from that position from this very minute as I'm speaking to you. 2. Mrs. Mercy Strata has been suspended from her position as IPOB UK National Coordinator. Mazi Mike Strata also suspended from his position as IPOB UK Deputy National Coordinator. Mazi Osama Morako is suspended from his position as IPOB Southeast UK Regional Coordinator. And Mazi Ikenna Josie Chukwu is suspended from his position as IPOB Northwest Regional Coordinator. The above suspended persons, they will be referred to IPOB Complaint Resolution Committee to answer for the complaints against them individually. Whatever turns out as a decision of this committee will be binding, as usual, on the leadership. Going further, to continue our sanitization of this noble family, as to ensure that only hardcore and die-hard loyalists of Onyendu and the structure he empaneled or he established are in this critical battle together. Anyone who does not understand what discipline means in a freedom fighting movement such as ours simply has no place in IPOB. The following persons have made their choice by allowing Satan to enter them and use them as tools and agents of destabilization. These collaborators in our midst, claiming to be IPOB family members, are as follows and hereby expelled from this very movement. Number one, Mazi Ebulam Donatus Onyemechi. Yeah, well, I think they know him with the name Bishop, and this is from Indonesia. Mazi Ebulam Donatus Onyemechi, known with the name Bishop, Indonesia, is expelled from IPOB family Indonesia and IPOB family worldwide. Number two, Mazi Chukwu Anoliefu, from also known with the name Sunana, this is also Indonesia. Mazi Obara Ustademba Lucas, this is from Cambodia. Mazi Okechukwu Etumnu, northeast of Johannesburg, Zonal Coordinator. Mazi Sunday Achunam, Port Elizabeth Unit Secretary. Mazi Chikamso Igwe Kama, Port Elizabeth. Mazi Kenneth Oduduwa, Mazi Paul Ugochukwuole, Catalonia Unit 3. Mazi Robert Ibe, Leicester Zone Deputy Coordinator. Mazi Edmond Sumudu from Suriname. Mazi Duru Ugochukwu, Doha Zonal Coordinator. And Miss Blessing Ifeyinwa Nwachukwu from Israel. All these names here mentioned, there will be a memo at the end of this broadcast that will give this very announcement the official documentation that it deserves, with all these names that I have just mentioned tonight. These people that are called now, they have made their decision not to be part of this movement, and we are only acceding to their wish and wishing them well in their endeavor, or whatever they have decided to be their next endeavor. Now, from Anambra Command, the following person ceases to be part of our ESN operatives: Chukwunonso Amadi, known with the name King Jaja, Igwe Chukwudi, Okonkwo Uchenna, Ilo Ebunam, Daniel, Nweke, Chidendo, Nwapa, B. Ogbonna, Nnabuife, Magnus, Eze Anyaso Nwawuru, Chimezie Nwangu Ogbonna, and Nweke Tochukwu. You know, the worst thing that you can have is you have an outfit of a defense outfit, so to speak now, in our case. And this defense outfit has people in their midst that are indisciplined. What it means is that if they go on an assignment with you, they will, it will be in their nature to sabotage that assignment. It will also be in their nature to sell their colleagues to the enemy. So if we do not condone in any manner or make it seem as if it is on a lower scale. Indiscipline is indiscipline anywhere. But the worst of it is that if you have an indisciplined army, then don't go to war, because you will definitely lose the war before even it started, before even that war starts. So in ESN, we cannot condone anybody who does not imbibe that characteristics of being completely disciplined, loyal, and obedient to his commanders, and of course to the commander-in-chief of the very, very outfit that we have put in place. When I was reading those who have been suspended, there are some of the offices that I'm going to announce their replacements immediately. The rest, we will still do the vetting and announce it in the coming days. These are newly appointed principal officers of the indigenous people of Biafra. Mazi Mike Wajago is appointed the new IPOB Northwest Regional Coordinator. Mazi Mike Wajago is the new IPOB Northwest UK Regional Coordinator. He replaces Mazi Ikenna Josi Chukwu as the Regional Coordinator. 2. Mazi Okechukwu Obianyos. My brother, I hope I get your name properly, but pardon me. Okechukwu Obianyos. Yes, Okechukwu Obianyo, that's correct. Okechukwu Obianyo is the new IPOB South East UK Regional Coordinator. Mazi Okechukwu Obianyo has been appointed the new IPOB South East of United Kingdom Regional Coordinator. He replaces Mazi Ozoma Murako as the Regional Coordinator, and he will be deputized. Mazi Benjamin Okereke will act as the Deputy Regional Coordinator for IPOB Southeast UK region. Mazi Benjamin Okereke will act as the Deputy Regional Coordinator for IPOB Southeast United Kingdom. Like I said, these appointments are with immediate effect. It takes effect immediately, and the rest positions that haven't announced their replacement, that will come very soon, at least those who will be acting until the decision of the complaint resolution committee is out, and then we will implement whatever decision they have made. I cannot stop reminding each and every one of us of the very, very dire moment that we have found ourselves. I cannot stop reminding all of us, and I can remember in my first, second, third broadcast, I always harped and hammered on the need of our being faithful, being loyal, dedicated and committed to this very struggle. If you think you cannot, you do not have any of these characteristics in you, and that you cannot follow the pace, you cannot, you cannot carry on with the Spartan way of discipline that we are introducing. We have no issue with that. You can simply, step aside, watch us, restore Biafra for you, and you can come in. But you will not be allowed to be in our midst and try to be an agent provocateur and try to derail or distract the leadership from the set objectives that has been, given to them to carry out, given to us to carry out. Nobody can distract us on that, and this has to sink in. It has to be understood the way it is said and the way it is meant, because we are not mincing any words. The reason some of our lands answer names that it's like we many of us don't even understand it, is really because we are, without apologies to anybody, we are a people that has a special connection with Chukwuabiam. The children of light. When our leader always mentions these names, it's so sweet in the ear when you hear it in our own language. The children of the kingdom of heaven on earth. I am calling upon you tonight and telling you that we must continue our unceasing supplication to Chukwuabiam until the end of our struggle, until we have reached our destination, until victory is assured. The struggle must continue on a disciplined manner and way. We must continue to commit our leader, because he is not with us at the moment, rather in the hand of the enemy. Prayers of millions and millions of honest, faithful, loyal and truthful Biafrans upon the head of our leader makes a lot of difference. I am therefore enjoining and asking and requesting all of you to continue your unceasing supplication to Chukwuokike, because it is working. Those who pray in the format of Judeo-Christian way, continue your prayers, your fasting and prayer. Those of us, or those who knows how to pray best according to our ordinana, the way of our ancestors, the way of the ancients, the way that, oh my goodness, those of us who truly know how to call upon the spirit that owns our land and call upon Chukwuabiam in our language, I want to ask you not to cease in your prayers, in your supplications, to call upon the spirits of our ancestors, the spirits of our heroes and our heroes, to call upon heaven and Chukwuabiam, so that they will continue to preserve, protect, guide, and be with our leader Mazi Kanu as he is in the hands of the enemy, and that they will shortly open the doors, that he will rejoin us for us to continue on our march to our freedom. Chukwu Okike, he is at the helm of this very struggle, and many of us have seen it, many of us have felt it, many of us have encountered it. And that is why when we speak with courage, we speak without fear before our enemies, we speak authoritatively, because we know that he that is with us is much more greater than than those that are against us. We must continue to pray and call upon his holy name and ask him to quicken the restoration of Biafra, to speed up the freedom of our leader, and of course that we may go back to our homelands to worship him the way our ancestors worshipped him in the days of the old. Great Biafrans, Biafra for us is not a name. Biafra is our heritage. Biafra is our identity. We are Biafrans. Biafra is more than a religion for us. And it is Chukwu Okike Abiyama, the creator of heaven and earth, unto him and to him alone that we bow down our heads, bow down our feet, and give our worship. Therefore, I want to thank you tonight for being part of this very broadcast. And we are, the leadership is doing whatever that needs to be done in all facets or in all departments, that something needs to be done to ensure the release of our leader. And I am very, very optimistic, very, very optimistic, very, very hopeful, trusting in the Okike that at the end of all this, praises and honor and glory shall be his own portion, shall be ascribed unto him, while for us, his children, unsurpassing joy shall be ours in the land of Biafra, a free, sovereign, independent Biafran nation. Thank you, and may Chukwu Abiyama guide and preserve all of you now and always. And good night from me. Thank you so much.